How we celebrated Christmas and New Year holidays in Ukraine this year, what Ukrainians eat on holidays and what gifts give each other, traditions that have changed since the beginning of the full-scale war and which remained in Ukraine from the past, how was the week before and after the New Year Eve, new shocking laws that won't to pass, what Ukrainians think about the war now, as well as what happened to me before the holidays and why I was at the doctor, and record missile attacks. See in this video. In the meantime, 2 weeks before New Year's Eve, I'm just decorating the Christmas tree. Bonnie Coco takes an active part in decorating. Usually the Christmas tree was on the balcony behind a glass transparent door, but this year we decided to leave it in the room. We have an artificial Christmas tree, but you can buy a live Christmas tree or pine tree on the street. They sell them near the markets usually. Despite the fact that we sell Christmas toys in Ukraine, there is no Christmas mood at all, and I don't want to buy new toys either. For the second year in a row, we have abnormally weather for the holidays, very warm, from +5 to 10 degrees Celsius. Actually, in my childhood, in the winter for the holidays, we had everything in the snow and -20. I also put a gnome and a mini Santa Claus, and this is how the Christmas tree turned out. Actually, in Ukraine, it's very popular before the New Year Eve for Christmas to watch 2 movies, Harry Potter and Home Alone. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Now we have 6 a.m. and I'm going to go to shoot a video for you. And sit at the car about, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes because we have really winter in Ukraine and now -10 because this morning is really cold. And I sit at the car and wait when my car will hit it. 7 ранку. Я їду знімати відео для YouTube. Why not? Here I'm recording a story in Ukrainian while I'm standing at a traffic light. I follow my assistant and we go to take pictures and videos from the morning. We had an unexpected cold snap today and I spent 40 minutes warming up the car. The guard at the house was also shocked and helped me clean the car. Just the day before yesterday it was snowing and yesterday it was very warm, all the snow on the car melted, and today it was very cold and the car was in ice, but it was very cold to shoot, so just take our words for it. Here's a little bit of what we filmed. And we're going to another location. It's called Wedenham. Actually, as you know, this is my favorite song for many years, and when something goes wrong or when I start to think that life is not fair because of the war, I always listen to it and the desire to live appears by itself.
Що, зручно? Дуже.
There is always something to do here. There are many exhibition halls for children and adults, indoor and outdoor skating rinks, an ice rink, and in summer a small swimming pool. Also there is a science museum, I will tell you about it later. Entrance to all pavilions is paid, but on the territory itself is free, not counting the paid parking. On the free territory there is a place to walk, it's a park, there is a lake, as well as a Christmas tree and decorations. And on this location we also took a lot of pictures while we have snow. And actually this is my assistant and faithful helper in all my strange ideas, for example at 7 a.m. to go to shoot video. Why we do it so early? Because we gotta see the moment before there's an air raid. We stopped to change at home and went to get something to eat. The next day I had a shock, namely at 9 there was an air raid and we woke up from a sharp explosion. I was very frightened inside my body and a vessel in my eye burst for the first time in my life. It's not scary, don't be scared if you haven't seen it before, but it looks scary. It was a shock to me as I had a record number of videos scheduled for this week for all my work projects and YouTube channels including. On the second day it became even worse visually and I made an appointment with a doctor. Thank God in Ukraine it can be done easily and quickly. I called to private clinic and one of them had time to see an ophthalmologist in an hour on the same day. I went, I had my eye examined on 3 apparatus. They calmed me down and told me that it will take up to 2 weeks to pass. It will be visual worse, but it's just a burst whistle from a sudden pressure drop and there are no serious injuries. Reception at the doctor instead of examination and visual check cost me only $18 or 720 hryvnias. In this respect, everything in Kiev is great with medicine, and another 3 days the eye looked worse and worse. On the third day I cried to my husband that I look like a freak and sat at home only on a manicure, went near the house and all. But on the fourth day I remembered that I'm a Lion Leo by zodiac sign and also a person who knows his value and in general what other people think about me, not my problems. And I was relieved. The next day my mom had a day off and I decided to spend time with her. We went to 2 locations to see what's there. Here is the main Christmas tree of the country, which of course is very small. In previous years it was like this. And then we went again to the same park and the science museum. Science Museum. It's for kids and adults, but honestly I expected something more. The price of one ticket is 200 hryvnias or $5. By the way, the exchange rate has risen again and now it's a record $1 equals 40 hryvnia. Back in the summer it was 38 hryvnias and before the full-scale war it was 27 hryvnias. So prices have also increased for food, gasoline and utility bills. I told you about in previous videos on the channel. The next day at 9 AM I met with a friend. Next was a sushi commercial and my eye on day 6 looked like this. It couldn't get any worse. Next, in this day on the road we met a car like this and some more like this. People want a little bit of the atmosphere of the new year. You can see here, by the way, that is warming up and everything has melted. There's not a trace of snow. Of course, also I shoot a little videos before the new year, before Christmas and generally worked, but that's behind the scenes. We went for a walk this weekend, we got a little snow again. This is the bird walk near our house and there are lots of birds here today. The next day, we learned from our friends at 3 different borders that no one is allowed out of the country, no men, no women, no children. No one explains anything and people stand just in complete confusion for days. We managed to find a message that all the border guards received. They were shocked as there are no new laws adopted, but the orders were issued. You can translate it if you are interested, and this is part of the message. Of course, no one will show it to you, and they didn't let anyone in. And at that time, the media was silent. News about it began to appear in public after 2 days, and only after that in the news, and then so passed. An additional new bill has been submitted for consideration, which is simply shocking, and Ukrainians immediately began to panic. In short, it says that 500,000 Ukrainians should be mobilized, and those who don't want to fight, that is, die, should be deprived of their human rights. Block bank accounts, don't allow the sale of any property, deprive them of medical care, don't renew documents, and so on. I will very quickly and briefly tell you the opinion of us and our relatives. Why people are against mobilization, or why now is certain death. First of all, because official deputies and employees of military units don't fight themselves, but live themselves a classy life and continue to steal. While ordinary people die in the war by their own uniforms, which are not given to everyone, there are not enough weapons for ground combat, salaries are not paid, there is no demobilization at all. People who die are simply recorded as mission persons. Besides, there is no normal training and preparation of people for war, ordinary people. Because of this, a person who goes to war almost immediately dies in most cases. In addition, they want to mobilize and disable think about it, the disabled, or people who take care of the disabled. We don't have Israel where someone will really take care of your family, or where children and officials themselves are the first to go to war. In our country, ordinary people suffer for everything, but at the same time it's worth saying that the support we are receiving, the weapons they are sent to us, somehow helps us not to be killed by the same missiles and somehow to resist on the battlefield. Unfortunately, it's now obvious to many Ukrainians that the war has gone nowhere and hundreds of people continue to die on a regular basis. Please, if you have a different opinion on this, keep it to yourself. You see more from the inside than you can learn from your news. I'm not going to tell you how many people we know have died in the last few months. Actually, now it seems like the whole world is watching us as a TV series right now. Statistics, theories, strategies, and we're living people who want to live our lives. And the whole world can't find a way to deal with one terrorist country. But that wasn't all the surprises that awaited us during this period. We played a lot of chess, I read a lot, Bonik of course participates in everything. Also, I bought a lot of new books for myself. We played board games with our friends, for example, it was Monopoly. Also, I did stretching at home and at the studio. We had occasionally air raids, but not for long. I learned to take pictures so you can see your eyes. I am kidding. And then this happened. December 29th, which we will never forget, the whole Ukraine under missiles. The terrorist country fired absolutely every type of missile they had. Death toll in the thousands, losses in the millions. Kiev has a terrible new record for deaths. In one attack lasting 6 hours in Kiev, 32 people were killed and more than 100 seriously injured. Everything was on fire: shopping centers, private and apartment buildings, factories, salons, and I remember the moment when my heart almost stopped. One of the missile arrivals is reported to have hit a maternity hospital. Imagine a maternity hospital.
It's a military facilities according to the terrorist country. But thanks God, the management of the maternity hospital moved all the women in labor to a shelter immediately after the air raid. In Ukraine, the most important holiday has always been New Year's Eve, not Christmas. And now January of 1st January has been declared a day of mourning in Kiev. In the evening, my conditional reached its limit. It seemed as if I was going crazy and just couldn't stand it. So we saw my friend, then I went to the training and recovered a little. Because if we are alive, we have to live and believe in the best no matter what. And the next day I was packing gifts for loved ones. My family and I have traditional of seeing my parents and my aunt's family at my grandmother's house after New Year's Eve. Half a year ago my cousin gave birth to a daughter, so we have a new addition. Boniek doesn't understand why everyone isn't allowed to play and why the box isn't given to him. Basically, what I'm giving. We usually give money to my grandmother's pensions in Ukraine are very small. Of course, we already help expect for holidays, but even here, why not to do a nice thing and of course sweets. I give my sister a certificate for cosmetics, my mom clothes that she wanted, and so mostly the usual candy, notebooks, candles, a set of teas, socks and other things which you can see. Also this year at work my husband played Secret Santa and we at the manicure also played Secret Santa. I love this game and do you play it? Please write in the comments. In addition to family, we also give gifts to our friends, but for each other, I mean myself and my husband, we decided not to give anything. This year we changed our car and now all year long we consider it to be a gift for all holidays. And to be honest, I don't really want to celebrate and think about gifts, but I really wanted to please my loved ones. In general, before the war, my husband and I tried to please each other without reason, and if something wants to buy it once and not wait for a special occasion. But it's also worth noting that despite the fact that before the full-scale war we had a good income, we prefer to help loved ones and do charity than to buy a lot of expensive and branded clothes, for example. But we have a tradition that doesn't change. On every holiday my husband gives me flower without fail and expect for holidays too. In general, flowers are a very important thing for Ukrainian girls. At Christmas we just sat down with my husband and watched Harry Potter while eating yummy things. By the way, a year ago Christmas was celebrated in the middle of January in Ukraine, but now this holiday has been moved and we celebrated it at the end of December. There are also several other holidays. In addition, the main hero in Ukraine has always been Did Moroz, not Santa Claus, but now it's considered that it's a Russian hero and we now also have Santa Claus are more popular. And this is our table already for New Year's Eve, and here we are watching Home Alone. Regarding New Year's Eve, in Ukraine it's accepted in the evening on December 31st to see off the old New Year, to thank him for something good, and then at 12 and after to celebrate the new year. We also celebrated it just the two of us, with Boniek of course, the three of us. We spent the old year, played chess, watched a movie and afterwards watched the speech of the President of Ukraine, which was over 20 minutes long. I will not tell you about it, and after we welcomed the new year, watched the second part, Home Alone, and went to bed. Actually, I decided to make spring rolls for the first time, by the way. It was good, but it looked weird, and my husband and I also got our hands on some pictures, just like when we were kids. It's more fun to draw with your hand.
Write, by the way, what in your countries and you like to watch on holidays, what movies and series you like in general. For example, I'm watching Supernatural right now. And yes, in the video you see the president's speech and here the Ukrainian anthem. It was another day and we were going to go to our relatives, but as soon as we left the house, the air alarm started and we went to the shelter near the house. We were the first ones there, by the way, just because we were right next door. We took the elevator down to the -2nd floor. We have chats where we can see how many minutes we have to get to the shelter. And in this case, there were Shahid, and we had another 5 minutes to use the lift or elevator. If we didn't have the time, of course, we wouldn't have taken the lift. Actually, it's very nice shelter right here, lots of exits, and they even put in benches recently. Most of the shelters don't look like this, of course, but more like plain old dirty cellars. But this is a parking lot of a shopping center, so it's more or less comfortable and clean. We had our car parked here, so we're sitting in it and decided to drive it after the alarm. We are warming again in the city, still not many people on the roads after the alarm. After the last attack, people are really trying not to drive out, because before everyone used to stand in traffic jams and during the air raid too. We arrived already at my grandmother's house, we were given more gifts than we brought. I'll show you what we got later. We have a table like this. Oddly enough, grandma decided not to make Oliver this year, which is always had, but to make 2 fish salads. There's also potatoes, beets, lots of sweets and cheese and meat slices. I apologize, but I was so happy to see my loved ones that I forgot to take the table down before everyone ate. That's Did Moroz by the Christmas tree, by the way. We did a lot of socializing, entertaining the younger of us, we played board games and ate a lot. In fact, the main tradition of Ukrainians on holidays is to eat a lot. We drove half the family home since we are the only ones with a car and will be unwrapping presents. It's such a gingerbread or ginger house which you have to build somehow and then you can eat. Also, Max, by the way, I forgot to tell you that before we visited my family, we went to my mom's husband's house. Well, she lives next building, and my husband's grandfather. And we had a little sit down and celebration with them before we visited my family. It's an echo cake with a symbolic inscription that everyone knows. Of course, a lot of sweets, chocolates, Raffaellos, Pringles. Lisa, this is my sister, you might have seen her in the previous videos on the channel, gave me such snow white briefs. Also here we have lots of masks and sweets. By the way, we rarely buy bags and boxes in our family, we usually give them to each other year after year. For example, this white box that I gave to Lisa for her birthday and she gave it to me for the Christmas. There's also lots of candy, linens and a bathtub curtain. Of course, Bonnie's gifts too, delicious canned goods. A lot of chocolates. We actually went to bed late for me 2 days in a row. I usually go to bed at from 10 to 11 and the last few days with the holidays around 1 a.m. and I was really hoping to get some sleep tomorrow, but I didn't. The next day I wake up to an explosion, then another one We run into the hallway and sit there for hours while our Air Force shoot down missiles from all sides, again missiles of all types. The second massive attack on the wall of Ukraine and Kiev in a week. More deaths and casualties. Missiles are hitting residential buildings. Near the house of our friend, a rocket just falls into the Dnipro River and by some miracle doesn't explode. It's really a miracle. It would be another 100 meters and that's it. And this is a house in the Kiev region that was unlikely. You know, I've been thinking a lot about how to convey to you how we feel at times like this, when missiles are flying just above you and they can fall or be shot down into your house. It's a scary explanation, but it's the right one. Imagine you and a lot of other people being taken to the wall to be shot and blindfolded. You hear a gunshot and realize that today is not you. You're not the one who got shot today. That's how Ukrainians feel during an air raid. The rest of the day was hard. All we had the energy to do was change the water for the flowers and go to a friend's house to distract ourselves by playing board games again. They have such a cute Christmas tree and decorations, minimalistic but very cool to me. While we were playing, the air raid started again. We came home and Bonik wouldn't let go. So I walked like that for about 10 minutes in the hallway. But if you think Bonik is always this cute, he is not. He is a scorpion and he is a typical scorpion abuser. For example, yesterday he and I had a fight. As you can see, we were not on equal footing. All because I asked him to leave the room and not eat my flowers. And the next day we got snow, a lot of snow. In the 20 minutes we were at the store, we had to clean the car a second time. The weather was very strange and the day it warmed up again and everything melted. I really hope you enjoyed this vlog from our real life. You can support me and my channel on the links in the description. Actually, I will tell you about my plans for the new year in another video. Also, in the new year, I want to wish each of you to spend more time with loved ones, good health and of course a peaceful sky above your head. Thank you for watching, supporting, liking, commenting and sharing my channel with your friends. I really appreciate it. For me, you people from other countries are a great support and motivation to learn more English. So see you in the next video.